Outrage against the treatment of gay people in Russia has shifted to a small town in the Republic of Chechnya, where rights groups say more than 100 people have been detained on suspicion of being homosexual. A Russian human rights group says the prisoners have been beaten and tortured here in Argun, where a military base has been turned into a prison camp. Meanwhile, Chechnya's local government has denied that gay people even exist in the area. Well, the government spokesman said if there were such people in Chechnya, law enforcement agencies wouldn't need to have anything to do with them because their relatives would send them somewhere from which there is no returning. Svetlana Zakharova joins us now from St. Petersburg. She's an activist from the Russian LGBT Network, which has been at the forefront of bringing attention to those suspected or being detained. Thanks so much for joining us, Svetlana. Can we be absolutely certain that gay people are being detained and tortured in Chechnya right now?
Yes, we are absolutely certain. I can say more. We started the evacuation like almost 3 weeks ago, and we have already evacuated quite many people. So there are LGBT people in Chechnya for sure.
I was reading some stories of individuals, right? And they were talking about honey traps. They were talking about, men saying, I'll meet you somewhere, and then luring them into these traps, and then other men beating them up and filming them and so on. Now, is it possible that this is just the actions of thugs and not necessarily state-sanctioned?
Well, we believe that there should be investigation to understand what's really going on there. But we believe that state at some extent is involved. Because it's just impossible that hundreds of people are being tortured, detained, and even killed. And there is no reaction from the government. And the reaction that was from the government actually shows something and says something.
Mm-hmm. Kadyrov calls these provocative articles about the Chechen Republic, he calls them the supposed events and detentions. Vladimir Putin's spokesperson says the accusations are slanderous. What do you make of that?
Well, what can I say? We have those people, we have testimonies, we have people who were tortured, and they came. They left Chechnya and they're ready to give testimonies. And right now we have information that the investigative committee, federal investigative committee, started to investigate this process. So let's see what's going on. But those people who already arrived from Chechnya, they definitely were detained and they definitely were tortured.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of responsibility, do you think it's possible that if Vladimir Putin told Ramzan Kadyrov, hey, cut this out, put an end to this, do you think he'd be able to do so?
Well, hopefully. I know that Chechnya is a kind of very specific region, but it's still part of Russia, and it's still about Russian citizens being killed and tortured. So there should be some authority.
Alvi Karimov, the spokesman for Kadyrov, some of our viewers heard a little bit of that earlier, where he said if such people even existed in Chechnya, their families would take care of them. We wouldn't have to do anything about that. What's your response to that?
Well, it's just unbelievable that in the legal, such things can happen right now in a public space, that a public person could say such hate speeches without any punishment. And basically what we have already did, we also applied to the investigative committee and asked to check those hate speeches. Because basically we believe that this is call to murder of people.
Did you hear about the resolution that came out of the mosque in Grozny?
Yes, we have heard about that.
Now, some bits of that include a statement that says the centuries-old traditions of Chechen society, the dignity of Chechen men, and our faith have all been insulted, and we promise that those behind it will face reprisals, whoever they are and wherever they are. Now, when they say those behind it facing reprisals, who do you think they're talking about?
Well, first of all, probably they talk about the journalist of Novaya Gazeta, who started this story. But, it was just impossible not to start this story because it's about people who are killed. And it's just impossible not to react.
Mm-hmm. And now, okay, so we have questions of behavior in the Caucasus and practices in the Caucasus. To what extent is this representative of something that's going on across Russia?
Well, of course, Russia is a homophobic country, but we have never seen such a level of violence. We have never heard about such a massive campaign about any group of people in the modern Russia. So what's going on in Chechnya right now is just unprecedented.
Do you believe it's a pogrom against gay people?
Well, it's definitely a campaign against gay people.
Why would Kadyrov want to do this? Help me understand. Why would he be interested in persecuting gay people so openly in the year 2017?
Well, probably he didn't expect that this information, or anybody who's doing it, that they don't expect this information is going to become public. And why? Well, homosexuality itself is a huge stigma in Chechnya. It's a stigma not only for the person itself, but also for all the family. So probably there should be some weird reason.
Is there any silver lining here? Is there anything that encourages you from the authorities or those in civil society who are pushing back?
What do you mean?
Well, have you heard anything in the past few days, for example, in the wake of these revelations that makes you think perhaps this will stop sometime soon?
Well, yes, as I said before, first 2 weeks, the federal authorities were absolutely silent about this situation, and they didn't talk about that despite all the international pressures. They kind of pretended that it's not happening right now in Russia. But now they started to do something, and at first the prosecutor's office of Chechnya stated that they are going to open the investigation, and then we have information that the Federal Investigative Committee started to do something. So there is still hope that all the responsible sites will be punished.
Are you confident that they're going to take it seriously?
Well, I believe that they will take it seriously because too much attention is paid right now to this situation. And it's not surprising, it's not just about discrimination of homosexual people, it's about people being tortured and killed.
Mm-hmm. If Mr. Kadyrov was watching this program, what would your message be to him?
Oh, I don't think that I have any message for him.
If you had the opportunity to speak your mind to him, what would that be?
Well, I don't know. I probably would say that all people deserve life, and all people have human dignity, and all people have basic human rights. The right not to be tortured, not to be killed, at least. Those are very basic things.
Svetlana Zakharova, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you very much.